Hello, folks. From darkness came forth the light. To begin with, we are not unaware of our personal limitations, nor do we have pretensions about being well educated. In fact, quite the contrary. But we are compelled to make a better mode of life possible by implanting a desire for said mode of life in the hearts of our people. We do this since we are assured by our heart that this is the correct course of action, believing as we do that faith is of the heart, and faith and not reason is the means to the divine, which divine plays a very real and intimate role in human affairs, great and small. Deus vult, God wills it. We have seen in our mind's eye that the decline of the faith runs hand in hand as one with the decline of our people into the morass that is modernist, materialist nihilism, and hedonistic apathy. We see that to survive, we must be reborn. To this end, this great effort of ours is meant to be a spiritual as well as socio-economic regrowth, a fully holistic, rejuvenistic program meant as the ideological basis for strengthening the family ideal such that this primary unit can be the proper base for a strong civilizational order so that the family may once more ensure the long-term survival of the people. We are, all of us, lost in the wilderness, hungering for richer fare and thirsting for our home springs. We are all, one to the other, future family, all lost folk, seeking homes, hearths, and to save our Western heritage from the hordes of politically correct modernity and its usurious, materialist, atheist system of death worship. PC modernity is, to be very clear, an oligarchy that we linger under. Yes, we merely linger now. Let that soak in a more full way, so that one can fully appreciate the contrast between what is, this lingering under this liberal PC modernist death cult, and what was and can yet be again life in a family of families celebrating life. What is right now is, of course, the liberal, modern, individualistic, happiness based order, which, lingering along, tries desperately to uphold the false idea that maximal happiness is the measure of all things. However, being based upon false premises, it is a failure. It is doomed to die a drawn out death of its own accord. What was, and therefore what can yet be again, is something rather more like our proposed organic society, an integral familial nation in which duty and justice ensure the families that make up the nation are well founded in homes around hearths, passing down stable, lasting heritages. The whole ensures to the parts their best interest, so that the parts may ensure to the whole's best interest. The nation ensures the family, each singly and all as one whole, a stable home in which to preserve the heritage and the history of the people. Thus, a well-founded order is one in which the continuance of the kind is primary over happiness or any other consideration. The highest consideration are families in homes around hearths, passing down heritages to children who then form families of their own. This is life-based. This is life-affirming. However, sadly and tragically, many associate nationalism and the topics we approach with hate and displays which are part of a bygone age. To be fair, this is partially our own fault, as we have provided no sound basis for countering this doppelganger image and have basically allowed this media doppelganger, this golem, this creation of theirs to be our public image. Let us state it plainly. This is a work of love, not hatred. We refuse to concede this point to the forces of modernity. Nationalism is about family, home, hearth, and heritage. Nationalism has nothing to do with most of the things the media and academics attach to its cards. They are the hateful ones trying day and night to steal, despoil, and kill our kind against all good right. We, on the other hand, are animated by love for our kin, for our home, our history, and our living people, who are a blood group, a nation descended from the Western European peoples who grew up out of the Ice Age. Though members of the people will try our patience at times, we still appreciate this heritage, this wholeness, this soundness. Our concern comes naturally from the concern one feels for his own home and family. We thus naturally expect results that are beneficial to our people's best ends. Now, we are the living. We love our people. They are the dead. They hate. Honestly, folks, we do view it as inadequate and unsatisfactory that at this late hour the mass of our people should have such a poor opinion and view of nationalism and the aims it promotes, which again are family, home, hearth, heritage, the continuance of our kind in the face of our children and your children and his children and their children. Do you understand? Thus, we need, point blank, need normal, motivated, decent folks organized into community-based bands pushing forward towards an organic society among the majority population, since all the objective conditions exist for a stable, viable mass movement based on the historical traditions of the majority, except an organization to capitalize upon said conditions. We see that for this to come about, nationalists must be as motivated and just as committed to our cause as those in power were before they came into power. We must set aside the modern world and embrace truth and reality. We must become the gatekeepers of our own narrative, write our own story on the hearts of our faithful, and take those people back from the death cold. We owe our people the duty to protect them from the false and useless prophets and idols of the death cult, as we are unlike those proper shepherds to our people and brothers to our kin, keepers of our kind. We owe loyalty first and foremost to those, closest related by blood, then by custom. Okay? This is not a choice. This goes back into millennia. It goes right back to the defend the cave principle. Thus, to make it a little more formal, we have every proper rightful duty to our nation, which is a blood group again. It's not just any old hapstance bunch of people who happen to be in a country. That's a country club. That's chaos. I want none of it. A nation is the German, English, Scottish, Irish mixed people of Americans. Those are a nation. White Americans. White Canadians are a nation. Australians are a nation. They don't have this problem. It's multicult yet. English are a nation. Welsh are a nation. Irish, Northern, Scots Irish, etc., and so on. Right. Now, all of these people inside of these nations have every proper duty to those nations, and when they conflict with others, c'est la vie. That's life. But for the person born into a nation, that's where your first, your last, and your every just duty should be owed. Do you see? Just that easy. If your country conflicts with your nation, your country's wrong. Your nation is the spring from which you have sprung, and if you shut off its flow, you cease to flow. I want to make this clear that I personally have no real ambition here. In fact, when this is all over, I would like to be the man on the hill left alone so I can just relax. Okay. As we see no great promotion in the future, we're driven, though, at this juncture to do all in our power so that from the rubble on the right, on the general right-wing conservative, populist, traditionalist, nationalist end of European, American, Canadian, Anglo, everybody who can speak, understand me natively. It's politics. We do this so that from that rubble may arise a more broad-based, realistic, virile, socially acceptable to the masses, economically viable, and politically motivated movement, real movement that moves somewhere, which will better organize these people to survive as integral, whole, familial, proper Western European nations. Our survival of a unique people is my only and highest end. Oh, am I failed as a human being? Everyone is. We do what we can. Now, we may or may not have succeeded in these lofty and arrogant sounding goals, and much may, no, yet, no, not may, in fact, does need to be done. Yet we are hopeful that those with a fair mind will come away with a fuller understanding of the material that we're trying to present and the motivations behind it. Now, basically, there's a PDF. It's called The Organic Theory of Society. Okay? I've sort of paraphrased parts of it to you in this. And the general outline of the document is that there's a dedication introducing the whole background of this and who I find to be important historically. And you'll get my feel for me. Me and Jesus would be good friends. I would have been there beating the usurers. What the hell, Jesus? Give him another. But you can't let scum take control of your money. And then there's a prologue, and for me, that lays out sort of the tutors, which is because I'm from the English world. My people were sent here because of the Jacobite rebellion in the first instance. So, and then from there, basically, how that grew into what we call the modern world in a very casual way, with very little fixation on any specifics. It's relatively simple. You'll see. Now, from there, there's another 3 chapters, and they hammer on the family, from the point of view of society, politics, economics. And there's a 4th chapter that is essentially a proposed bulletin point outline of sort of in the Anglo-speaking world and rural United States particularly, but any place with a fair amount of resources and manpower, you could band together, form legal associations, perform legal work, do legal political activity, perform legal media activity, agitprop, legal educational work for yourself, and pool all this together into sovereignty, power at a local level for yourselves. You might even think of it like the Mennonites in a way, but okay. And as far as I can determine, it's perfectly legal within limits to, all of you get together and work, then sell what you've worked, then save the capital. And it seems right. It does seem like this has been being done for a very long time. And basically, there's a link at the bottom. You just, if you'd like, read it. And now, so you understand, this document's not perfect. There's a lot there, but the idea is the pictures will help you through this. I promise you, right? If you grasp what the little circles and interlocked items mean, we will have a meeting of the minds, you and I, okay? Right? If you simply can follow the flow charts, the words will come into meaning to you in time. I promise you. I promise you. I understand. I didn't write this. Let me make this clear. It wrote itself through me, but it is here, and and in the pursuit of a set of first principles of a sort of fixed script, this is what I present, and we thank you.